Hello everyone and welcome back to Paper Peony. I am Kimberly Jones and I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. And what that means is I demo using Stampin' Up products, and that you can go onto my active website and purchase and shop for these products. Today I have this very innovative card that you're seeing in front of you, and I thought I would take a play on the tackle box card and actually do a tackle box for fly fishermen. So here is a take on the tackle box card that you can see in the catalog, and I thought, why not do a tackle box with just flies? Because there are those fans out there that actually tie their own flies for fly fishing. So this is what we're going to do today. And it is using the Gone Fishing bundle that is brand new in the annual catalog, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. What I did want to tell you is that you can go onto my website that is linked below, and there you can view this catalog in its full detail. You can see projects, different projects than what I'm showing you today, and you can even order products if you're interested. I also have a Facebook page called Paper Peony that you can see other ideas and get some interesting concepts there. And then I have a brand new Instagram page called Peony by KJ. It is quite newer, so there's not as much stuff on my Instagram right now, but those are some sites that you can visit. So today we're doing the Gone Fishing. And let me move my lighting so there's not a glare on the actual case. But here is the Gone Fishing. Let me move my sample out of the way. Okay, and this is a photopolymer, which makes it easy for you to actually stamp the color, the bottom of the bobber here, or if you want to put this inside this here, it's easy for you to see, and that way you don't go over the lines when you stamp. There's really cute sayings. Good things come to those who wait. So glad that you're my dad. Happy retirement, congrats, and happy Father's Day. This is a very generic set. You can use this for birthday. How many times do we want a masculine card and we just don't know the perfect stamp set for it? And this is actually, if they love to fish, this is the perfect stamp set for that occasion. Okay, and then this is the dies. And this is the actual, this is like a little tackle box, which is really cute. This is the inside of the tackle box here, and this is the outside. So you can actually use this outside die for if you want to just do an insert to a card, but you wanted rounded corners, you didn't want those sharp edges. This is a perfect inside card layer that you can do. You don't have to use it just for the tackle box. But here is the actual tackle box inlay. And then here is the waves that you can put on top of water. Here's a little cute little sinker, I don't know, sinker weights, I guess what you would call them. And these are not part of a stamp. They just die cut out, and they're really, really cute. And you'll see that in an upcoming video of my tackle box card. And then you have the old-fashioned wood cork here that you can build. And then the little, when the cork goes in the water, it makes a little splash. Here are those little splash concept dies here. That's really, really cute. And then you have some extra tackle, some hooks, an extra feather to put on the flies, which we're going to do today. And then here are just the cutouts to the stamps that you stamp. So this die here, this fish die, actually cuts out the fish on the paper, some of the fish. And I'm going to show you the whole suite here in just 1 second. This is how I store my dies. This is a magnetic sheet that I ordered from Stampin' Storage, and Patty Bennett is the one that pretty much pushed me to that store, and I love it. It's easy because a lot of times when you take them out, you don't know where they go back, and so this is just an easier way of me being able to see all the dies that I have. However, when you go to purchase Stampin' Up! Dies, they come in a package like this. And we are going to be using, this is the Stylish Shapes dies, and we are actually going to be using the circle die out of these. These are layering dies, so you get a whole bunch of circle dies, square dies, and banner dies with this die set. And this is a standalone die, so it doesn't come with a stamp set or anything. and it's found in the back of the book where the dies are, but we used one of these little size dies here. I think it's this one exactly. And it has a little perforation around the edges, which makes it extra cute. And see how they layer on top of one another? Just imagine dies with shapes and stuff, and so it's really hard for me to put them back. So I find that the Stampin' storage magnetic sheets are a lot easier for me. So, but that's how they're gonna come. So just to kind of give you an idea on that. Okay, so let me move this aside, and I also want to show you in the book, when you go to my website and you hit the shop button, and you can actually, it tells you to go through the catalog, shop through the catalog, shop products, however you want to shop. If you're looking for something specific, you can just type in Gone Fishing and it'll directly take you to this suite. Or you can go to suites and it shows you all the suites that are in the catalog. Or if you hit fishing or dies or bundles, that's the other thing I was going to tell you. Anytime there is a bundle introduced that's brand new, then it will be 10% off for that first duration year. And then after that, it goes to having to purchase them separately. So keep that in mind. If you really love this bundle, you definitely want to get the stamp set and the die set together when they're discounted. So here is the suite. And here is that tackle box that I was telling you about. And then here's some samples that are in the book. And then here's the papers. They're 12 by 12 sheets of paper, and you get 2 of each design, and I'll show you the designs closer up. Here is a rope embossing folder that's really, really cute. If you can see the texture on that, that's really, really cute. If you get the suite all together, and that's including the papers and the embossing folder, it's $72. If you get just the stamp set and the die set, it's $49.50, and you're saving 10%. So I just wanted to kind of show you that, and it's on page 78, 79 of the main catalog. So, all right, and then the other thing that we're going to be using today on this particular card is, it's a stamp set called He's All That, and it is in the annual book. It is an older set. I believe it came out 2 years ago. And we're going to use this little photo corner stamp because when you go to look at what a fly fishing tackle box looks like, it's actually these little hooks where the flies attach. And so we're going to mimic that on this card. So I got this out. It's a rubber, this is a rubber stamp set. So I'm going to show you the difference. This is the rubber. And see how these have a cushion on them? Okay, so we're going to be using a photopolymer set today, and it does not have any kind of cushioning on it whatsoever. See that? So I'm going to show you a mat that you can use to actually give you that extra cushion. So when you go to stamp an image, you'll get a nice crisp image, and you won't have any blank spots in your stamp. That it will be an even coverage every time you stamp. So, okay, so let me bring the card back out. This is the one that we're going to be using. Now, we are going to take a little play on the background color today. This is the Wild Wheat color that's brand new. This is one of the new in colors that they came out with in this catalog. I love it. In fact, I've used a lot of it. And so because I've used a lot of it and I'm almost empty from having any, or I'm totally out almost, I'm going to use another in color that's brand new as well, and that's called Copper Clay. And so we're going to take a play on a different color today on the background, but we are going to use this same gray, and this is slate gray. It's one of their lighter grays. So, and it's an older color, but we're going to use this gray. Okay, so let's get started. I went ahead and did all 9 flies already, but I'm going to show you how to do one from scratch, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take the fly, this little stamp right here, okay? And then we're also going to stamp this guy in a different way. So you want both of these stamps out using this stamp set, okay? So I went ahead and mounted my fly on a clear block, okay? And this is that foam mat I was telling you about. We do sell this, and it does add that cushion for you when you're using photopolymer, and so you'll get a nice crisp image every time you stamp with it, okay? So we're going to use Versamark. So for those of you that have never heat embossed, it is so much fun and it is very addictive. But this is what you need. The products I'm using right now is what you're going to need to heat emboss. There's also an embossing pen out there. We do not sell it, but I do want to tell you about it because if you ever have just a little bitty section, or if you want to do some kind of scripture or whatever, or write hello and just emboss that word, then you can use the embossing pen and do that. Or if you have an area that did not emboss real well, you can use the embossing pen and just touch up that one section and then go back and redo it. So I do want to tell you about the embossing pen, and I do believe the one I got from Hobby Lobby actually. So, or you can get them from Michael's, I'm pretty sure. But the Versamark, now this is Dazzle. This is a sparkling one, a watermark. It's frost, and this is from Hobby Lobby. There are just generic Versamark, and what this is it's pretty much just a sticky watermark. It's clear, okay? And what makes it wonderful is that because it's sticky, that allows the embossing powder to stick to it, so you can emboss with it, okay? Versamark's usually just used for embossing. So, but what we're gonna do is we're going to, let me get a scrap piece of gray, and I wanted to do it on gray because of the inlay of your tackle box. I want it to be the exact same color so that it doesn't stand out. I'm trying to find a scrap piece, and I'm not seeing a scrap piece, so hang on, let me get a piece of just regular. Okay, so you're going to take your slate gray and you're going to just ink your stamp really, really good. And then you're just gonna stamp your image onto your cardstock, okay? And then you're not gonna be able to see that really. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's kind of like a little sticky, clear image right there, okay? Then you're gonna take your embossing powder, whatever choice that you choose. Now, I tend to love using coffee filters because then it's easy. Like, see, these are the containers they come in. It's really easy when I'm done with this to be able to just fold this in and pour it back into the container like so, okay? If you don't have an embossing tray and you know, and you don't want to invest in, even though we have a really, really cool embossing kit that we sell. It comes with a tray and a brush to brush it back into your jar, and it comes with forceps to hold your paper so you don't heat your fingers when you heat up your cardstock. It's a really cool kit, and so it is for sale, and it is located in, I believe, the accessory set of our catalog. But for the most part, I'm just using this little jar as a shovel, and I'm just going to pour this over my image and then tap it down and just make sure you have just an even coverage. See, like that? Okay, now I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna set my powder. This is pewter silver. I don't know if the pewter silver is still available, but we definitely have metallic silver for sale. So I'm gonna move my mat out of the way. Then you're gonna take an embossing gun, and we do sell embossing guns. This one happens to be one that I already had, so I'm just using it. You want to use your hand and make sure that it gets hot on your hand before your paper. That way your paper doesn't fold or bend on you. Too much heat will distort your cardstock. And see how that's giving me a metallic? That way you know that it's done, because it changes colors on you, okay? So then after you get that done, then it's already embossed, okay? And then all you do after that is you're gonna use the die, the fly die here. Let me get this out. Okay, the fly die. Line this up like so over your heated image. Okay, like that. Run it through your die cut machine, and then it will come out looking like these guys. Okay, and that's what you're gonna want. And you want to do that 9 times. And so what makes it easy is if you go ahead and stamp your fly 9 times with the Versamark, sprinkle it all the same time, heat it all the same time, then it fastens, it quickens the process, okay? So after you get those die cut out, okay, then we're going to do the feather part. And I already have all the feathers done, but I'm going to show you how I did them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take copper, you're going to take boho blue, and wild wheat, these 3 new in colors, just a scrap sheet of each one of these cardstocks. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp tone on tone using this feather stamp. Okay, so the copper, let's just do the copper. I'll show you how to do this. Okay, you're just going to use the copper clay ink. You're going to stamp the feather in the copper clay, and you're just going to stamp it 3 times onto the copper cardstock. Okay, and if I was doing this from scratch, I would go ahead and just double the stamping, and that way you have it on hand for an extra card. Okay, and then obviously you're going to want to clean your stamp in between each color. That way you don't, for those of you who are brand new to stamping, you don't want to marry your colors or muddy your colors, because then your ink will never be the same color. Okay, and our ink pads are wonderful. They flip out and then back up, and when you store them like so, and the ink is on top, so it always stays fresh every time you stamp. Okay, and then here's the boho blue. And see, as you can tell, I've already stamped, if you were looking at this cardstock, you can already tell that I've already stamped some. Okay, and then I already did that with the wild wheat as well. Okay, and then you're going to fussy cut these out with scissors. A lot of people love to fussy cut. They find it, you know, stress-free or relaxing, but that's what you're going to do, is you're going to cut them out. Okay, and then I've got a whole bunch of them, I've already got a whole bunch of them cut out already. So I went ahead and assembled them. Okay, and then you're going to take this little feather guy, and die cut it out 3 times using the Starry Night cardstock, the Parakeet Party cardstock, and the Calypso Coral cardstock. That's the coral. Here is the Parakeet Party, that lime green, very pretty color. And then the Starry Night, which is a real deep purple color. I want to call it a blue purple. These 2 colors here, the Starry Night and the Parakeet, happen to be last year's in colors, which are good for another year. And they married together very well with the new in colors. So I wanted to bring in the new and the old on this card. Okay. All right, so as you can see on this card, these are how I've got them paired together. You can pair them up however you want when you're doing your own. Just whatever colors interest you, that's what I would use. Okay, but I'm going to show you how I did one of these. Okay, so I used Tombow glue, okay, liquid glue. And this glue is wonderful because when you go to glue, you have like just a couple seconds if you have to reposition your paper to do that before it glues and adheres permanently. So what I do is I just do a little strip of this glue on the inside of that feather, okay? Because that's where your big piece is going, okay? And then you're going to bring this up. And see how that you have that bottom edge there? I line it up to that bottom edge, because then it will just lay in place where it's supposed to go. And you're just going to hold that in place for a couple seconds. Okay, and then you're going to just do a little tap of glue at the very tip top of that triangle. Okay, no more than that, or you'll have a lot of glue lines everywhere. And we're going to just do this one different. I'm going to do the coral color on this one. Why not? And you're just going to tap that up there at the top. And then let it air dry. Set it aside and let them air dry, okay? So that's how you assemble them, okay? Now, I've already got all 9 of mine assembled ready for this card. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the actual background of this card. I went ahead and did my slate gray die cut, okay, the one I showed you earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this lined up to stamp. I've already mounted that photo corner stamp set that I told you about earlier. I'm using Stays On black ink because it's a nice bold black ink, okay? And it happens to be the ink to use if you're stamping on any kind of non-porous surface. So like if you're stamping on vellum, or if you're stamping on transparencies or glass or anything for that matter, cloth, fabric, you're gonna wanna use Stays On. So ink this real nice, okay? And then just kind of visualize where your center is gonna go and stamp, okay? And then I use that center point as a guide. And I kind of just visualized, or actually placed my flies on the cardstock to kind of get an idea, where I'm gonna want these placed or stamped. Okay, so just go in and ink every time. Okay, and then okay, and then go up here and do the center one, and then use your center as a gauge for the other 2. Now, they don't have to be just spot on perfect, because I'll show you a trick. If you get them where they're kind of off center a little bit, because you are doing it with your eye and not with a ruler or anything like that. And you can do that if you want to spend the time to do that. I didn't in this case. Then you can move your flies. When you go to adhere these, you can move them up or down or whatever to make it look like it's supposed to, because your eye is going to go to the actual line of flies and not the triangles. So you just want to line them up efficiently. Okay, so all right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to use let's go ahead and glue this down first. Okay, so here is my copper clay cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and then I scored it at 4 1/4 to make it an even half. Okay, then you are going to fold that in half, and I'm using my trimmer because I want to show you a trick. This is something I learned from Kylie and Bruno Bertucci from Australia. And what you do is you take your cardstock and you line it up to the very top of your trimmer, and then you fold it in, and this is after you scored, of course. Fold it all the way up to that edge again, okay? Then use your bone folder, go down and across, and it makes for a very crisp, even fold, so that way you don't have an overhang over here where you folded it imperfect, okay? So that gives you a perfect fold, and that bone folder gives you a nice crisp fold where it will not fall down when it's standing up. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and glue our base down. And I'm just gonna use this liquid glue on everything today, except for the flies, of course. Okay, so we're just gonna glue that down. And this is also going to give me a couple seconds to figure out where I want it, because I want it to be nice and straight, where your eye is not playing tricks on you, okay? Okay, and then we're ready to use our dimensionals. And we're going to just add some height to each one of these flies, because for all the time that we've spent putting them together, we definitely want our attention to go to them. So I am just going to put a pop dot, we call them pop dots, on the back of these little flies, and just put them where you like them. So we're going to put them there, there. And there. And then the copper goes up here on the top. And you can change them around. This is just what my original looks like, and so I'm just sticking to the original to make it fast. Okay. And then the wild wheat and starry night. Definitely not their last but not least. I love the new wild wheat color. I think it's just really pretty. And I have found myself using it quite a bit, so that's why I'm out of it. But I think this one's going to be a nice color contrast as well. Okay, so there's that, okay? And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do our little tag. Now I wrap this around to kind of give a present kind of feel. And then after they open their card, then they can leave this string and tag off the card and display it on their mantle or in a photo album or in a picture frame. And that way it doesn't have Happy Father's Day on it. So that's kind of why I did it as a wraparound. But if you wanted to have it as a permanent fixture on your card, then you might want to glue it under your string before you glue this piece down. So that's just an idea for you. But in this case, let me show you, this is the new jute trim that they've come out with the new in colors. It's really nice. There's 5 in colors. This is the copper clay that we're going to change up a little bit. We're going to just kind of wrap this around the card to kind of get an idea how long we need. Okay. And then cut it. Okay, and then the tag itself, these are those dies I was telling you about, the stylized shapes dies. We already had that pre-cut with the wild wheat. And we're going to stamp this in Starry Night, that same purple color. And I'm using that Happy Father's Day saying from this stamp set. And you want to go down on this tag a little bit because you want to allow yourself enough room to put a hole in the top. Okay. Okay, just use a generic hole punch to put your hole in the top. Okay. My hole punch was a little bit smaller, so I punched it a couple times. Okay, and then I ran it from the top because I found it a little bit easier to control getting it through the hole, especially since I'm not using this with a needle or what you would call, like in sewing and stuff, embroidery needle. This is actually too thick to put through a embroidery needle. There it goes. Okay, and then just run that through. And then you're ready just to wrap it around your card. Now for lining purposes, I always line my cards when I send them or when I sell them. And I just mimicked the outside. I lined it with this gray and then stamped a saying on the inside. And then that was what I did with this card when I sent it off. So, or if I'm selling it to somebody. So. Okay, trying to make this even. It's not wanting to get even for me. There we go. I can always position the tag here in a second. Okay, so I just tied a basic bow. That way it's easy to open when the time comes. And then you can always position the tag wherever you want it on your card. But that's how that comes together. So, and I would just cut that little fray of a tag right there, or the tail of that trim. But that's how that works. So I hope you enjoyed this card. It was so much fun to create and make. And I hope you give it a try. I mean, it's a very fun and interesting card, and I'm sure whoever receives this card, they will greatly appreciate the time and effort that you took to make it. So this is the card I have for you today. The next upcoming class that I'm going to do is the tackle box card, and I'll show you my 2 color combinations of that card. This is going to be in the next video, so look out for that next video. And I also promised you I would show you the papers in this new suite. And so let me get that paper out for you. Now I have used up a lot of this paper, so some of it's not here. But here is the, one of the papers has fishing rods, which is really cute. And on the back side is netting. Here's water. On the back side of it is it looks like a lake map for fishing. Here are the fish that I was telling you about, and that fish die cuts out this fish right here. So you can cut out all these little fish if you want, and definitely get your money's worth on this sheet of paper for sure. And then it's a real pretty gingham on the back. These are just tone-on-tone fly fish, or flies. And then the back side is a stripe, which is really pretty. And then here is a blue sheet of fish, different color blues. And then on the back side looks like a blue wash on boards. So that's the papers that come in with this suite, and I think they're totally worth it. And like I said, I've used up so much that I needed to order some more. So that's what I have for you today during this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have learned some things, and I hope to see you in the upcoming videos. If you do like this video, please hit like or subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, and it will also help my YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.